So before the video that you are watching begins, I do want to make a quick special announcement, and that is that my father is currently going through cancer. He is battling cancer. He has been diagnosed with leukemia. This happened 2 weeks ago at the time that I'm filming this portion of the video, at the end of March. Me and my family, we have created a GoFundMe for my father. The link for it is down below, and I will be making a video further explaining the whole situation later on in the next week or so. But for the time being, this is all I'm able to tell you guys. Please donate down below, share, and keep me and your family in your prayers. Thank you. Now let's get on to the rest of this video. Hello, this is Daniel Mart back again, and for this video, I'm going to be doing, finally, my movie haul for basically my birthday. So yeah, my birthday was in March, and I'm finally doing my movie haul. Now, kind of a disclaimer, kind of a, let me call out the elephant in the room kind of thing. Back in February, I did make a video saying, hey, this is my addiction. I love buying movies. If you haven't noticed it by now, I love buying movies. And that, to a certain degree, did become kind of an addiction, especially towards the latter half of last year. And that also had some other side effects where it got me very demotivated and just watching movies in general, this and that. For example, watch that video so you could get the full scope. So, but one of the things I said in that video was that I'm going to try not to collect that many movies. Well, it was my birthday. My birth month, all of March. So I went a little bit ham. And I'll be honest, there's a certain part of me that is like genuinely embarrassed to admit this, but I'm pretty sure I have about 100 movies, maybe even a bit more, between maybe 100 and 120 movies in this whole haul. Funny enough, in that video, I said that, oh, I'll probably only want to get about 50 movies for the entire year. I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, no. So I remember in that video, I said that my average per year before last year was maybe about 200 movies per year. I think that's how it looks like it's gonna be this year as well, back to that general average. Maybe a little bit more, because as of now, or after April, or shortly after April began, I stopped buying movies, so I'm back on the not addiction side of it all. But yeah, that being said, I kind of just wanted to call out the elephant in the room very fast before anybody mentions it, just to kind of be transparent with you guys. But despite that, I do have a bunch of movies, and yeah, I mean, really, like I said, it was my birth month, and I got a lot of money. I got a lot of money for my birthday, so I spent it. Go figure. I also went thrift shopping a lot. It's one of those things that I didn't buy as much movies thrift shopping, even though this will look like a lot at the end for this first bulk of it. I actually didn't buy as much movies thrift shopping as I normally do. It's really just the fact that I bought more movies in other places, funny enough. So yeah, I'm going to start off with the DVDs, which I only got a few DVDs, or comparatively speaking, a few DVDs, before going on to the Blu-rays. Alright, took off my jacket because it was getting a little bit too hot in here, and yeah, turned on my fan. But yeah, let's go, starting off with the DVDs, and then going on to the Blu-rays. And I'm going to divide this up between, like, every place I got them at, more or less. And yeah, so first off, thrift shopping. And for thrift shopping, I basically went to, like, my 3 usual thrift shops, which are my 3 usual Goodwills. And then I went to 2 other Goodwills that you'd never gone to before. And then I had a trip halfway through March, and I bought a few movies at that thrift shop that was nearby where I was staying. So basically, I went to like 6 different thrift shops throughout all of March, essentially. But yeah, here are the DVDs, and I'm going to go on to the Blu-rays. Okay, so first off, we have Domino with Keira Knightley and Mickey Rourke. Edgar Ramirez. Whatever happened to Edgar Ramirez? He was pretty big around like 2014, 2015, right around the time that he did the Point Break remake, and after that he died. I'm pretty sure I know why he died, career-wise, because nobody liked that Point Break remake. I've actually never seen Point Break, the remake, or the original, to be honest. So, yeah. Next up we have Slipstream with Sean Astin and Vinnie Jones. Here we have Mr. Jealousy. Next up we have Carnal Knowledge, an early Jack Nicholson movie. For those who know me, I love Jack Nicholson. He's one of my favorite actors of all time. So, one of his random movies are out there in the wild. Yup. Next up, I have Igor, which is a movie that I've like never heard anybody talk about at all. I know I saw this when it first came out in theaters when I was like probably like, I don't know, 7 or 8 years old. So I know I saw this in theaters. But past that, I've never heard anybody talk about it. I haven't seen it since then. So I saw this out in the wild. I'm like, you know what? Yes, let me just buy it for why not? Okay, next up, this is kind of a weird one, so I kind of have to explain it, and this is Charlie Wilson's War. And here's the thing, I've never seen this movie. I don't really know what it's about, aside from, presumably, being a war that involves Charlie Wilson, right? So why did I get this movie? For whatever movie, just the title, Charlie Wilson's War, has always interested me. I don't know what or why about it, but it's just like, it's one of those titles that just kind of gets stuck in my head sometimes, and I just like say it over and over. I'm like, oh yeah, Charlie Wilson's War, Charlie Wilson's War, Charlie Wilson's War. I don't know why, but it's like also just a little bit comforting saying that title. I know it's weird. I can't really explain it, but there we go. But yeah, it has Tom Hanks, Julia Roberts, Hoffman, Philip Seymour Hoffman. So yeah, I don't know why, but Julia Roberts looks a little bit weird in this here. Also in the back. But yeah, Charlie Wilson's War, Charlie Wilson's War. Can't really explain it to you, but yeah, that's why I got it. Next up, we have a Femme Fatale collection. 5-6 movies that are in this collection. We have Whistle Stop, Algiers, Dishonored Lady, The Strange Woman, Cause for Alarm, and The Naked Kiss. So those are the movies that are right there. And yeah, I have a bunch of collections like this, where it's like classic movies, you know, whatever collection, like Femme Fatale collection or whatever collection. I don't really know what to call these. But yeah, this has movies starring Ava Gardner, Hedy Lamarr, Loretta Young, and John Fontaine, as well as many others. So yeah. Alright, this one I kind of need to explain a little bit, and this is the Ratatouille How to Cook Coming of All Ages Walmart exclusive DVD type of thing. I found this, I actually saw this twice out in the wild. Once at Goodwill, and once at that other thrift shop that was next to the place I was staying at during my trip. And why did I get this exactly? It's because I basically had a small joke with one of my friends, where we were just talking Ratatouille for like about 2 weeks straight for whatever reason. And because they were cooking Ratatouille and stuff like that, and I kind of wanted Ratatouille because they were cooking it and stuff like that. So, you know, this kind of turned into a joke, and the fact that I saw this twice, I'm like, you know what? Yeah, why not? Screw it. Just for the joke. I'm gonna buy it. Just for the joke. Next up, we have Appleseed, an anime movie. Seemed pretty interesting, so why not? Here we have The Secret of Nymph. Surprisingly enough, I've actually never seen this movie, and I'm pretty sure it has a sequel afterwards. But yeah, pretty interesting right there. Next up, we have Ruby Bridges, the Disney movie. And here's a weird thing about this movie, and I'm not sure if this is like a Mandela effect type of thing going on here, but I could have sworn Ruby Bridges was like part of a anthology series that Disney had, where it's like every episode is a different movie, almost like the early 1950s, 1960s, like play, like Actors Playhouse. That's a theater company down here, but like those type of shows, like Player Studios or whatever type of shows like that, where every episode's a different play or different movie. Like for example, 12 Angry Men. The very first original version of 12 Angry Men was in one of those like type of series, type of shows, and I could have sworn that Ruby Bridges was like the same thing. I could have sworn it was, and then I was actually looking into it. It's like, no, it actually wasn't. But yeah, I found this in the wild, and I haven't seen it since like give or take high school. And I remember it being a good movie. I remember the ending, especially where she finally gets accepted into the school, and the one white boy who's been bullying her the whole time, at the end tries to like is attempting to be her friend at the very end. So yeah. Next up, we have Dick Tracy Meets Gruesome. Here we have The Satanic Rites of Dracula, Christopher Lee movie. And this is actually from a series of Christopher Lee movies from the Hammer times, from when he was working with Hammer. And I'm pretty sure this is the last one in that series that he did, if I'm not mistaken. Next up, we have The Heiress. Alright, here we have Half-Light. And yeah, this is a Demi Moore horror film. Honestly, I just got it because Demi Moore, during the Oscars, The Substance, my favorite movie of last year. Honestly, I think she was robbed. I do not think that Mikey Madison should have won. I'll be honest, it's not that it's a bad win, it's just that Demi Moore winning would have been a better win. Just infinitely better win. I do think that, and I've said this before, but I do think that Mikey Madison, she really needs to prove herself in these next 2 or 3 years. She really needs to prove herself in another movie or another series of movies to make that Oscar win make even more sense. Again, it's not that it's a bad win, it's just that Demi Moore would have been an infinitely better win. So, yeah. Next up, we have Riddick, the trilogy, all 3 Riddick films. So that's Pitch Black, Chronicles of Riddick, and Chronicles of Riddick Dark Fury. I actually wasn't aware that there was a 3rd movie in this series, if I'm being honest. I just thought it was Pitch Black and Chronicles of Riddick. So I'm not really sure what Dark Fury is. Because here, also, now that I'm looking at this actual packaging, it's like Pitch Black, Chronicles, and then Dark Fury. But in the back, it's Pitch Black, Dark Fury, and Chronicles. So, yeah, I'm kind of not sure how this is. Apparently, Dark Fury Dark Fury is apparently a short film. It's 35 minutes. So, yeah, I really don't know what to make out of that. Interesting. Doesn't say any years here, does it? I don't know. But pretty interesting. Why not? Alright, next up I have Corazon de Tequila. So again, thrift shopping, you find a lot of like random Spanish films. I actually didn't find that many Spanish films this go around, if I'm being honest. I only found 2, that one and then another one that I'm going to show up pretty soon. Next up we have a trilogy of films: Bachelor Party, Back to School, and Weekend at Bernie's. Here we have Boccaccio 70, I'm not really sure how to say that, maybe Boccaccio 70, and this is an anthology film where it's all 4 stories are directed by major Italian directors. Federico Fellini is probably the most famous one here, but you also have Vittorio De Sica, Mario Monicelli, and Luciano Visconti. And it stars Sophia Loren and a bunch of other big Italian stars from the time, like Anita Ekberg. Those are 2 right there, Sophia Loren and Anita Ekberg. You also have Marissa Salinas, you have Rami Schneider, Germano Galileo, Peppino De Filippo, a bunch of these great stars from that time. Also, it's an anthology film, so you don't really see that many anthology films to begin with, unless it's like, I don't know, VHS or something like that, you know? But like even that, I feel like most anthology films are like within the horror genre to begin with, so something outside of that, like, yeah, I can't really think of another anthology film that's not a horror now I think about it, because I'm thinking like VHS, ABCs of Death, not Boys in the Hood, Jesus Christ, Tales from the Hood, you know, stuff like that. I guess Trick or Treat kind of falls, yeah, but outside of that, I can't really think of like a non-horror anthology film. So yeah, I highly doubt this is horror. So yeah, pretty cool. And again, you have a bunch of great directors, Italian directors from that time, and just they randomly teamed up to do a anthology film. It just seems kind of funny. Next up, we have Curious George. Here we have the only other Spanish film I got, and that is El Niño Perdido. Here we have Scooby-Doo meets Batman, and funny enough, actually I already have this in another Scooby-Doo collection, so kind of a rebuy on this one. Go figure. One More Time, and An American in Paris. So that's it for the DVDs, essentially. Now onto the Blu-rays. And these are all the Blu-rays that I thrifted as well, that I found at thrift shops. So here we go. First off, we have Homefront. Next up, we have Capitalism, a Love Story, a Michael Moore film. You typically don't see any Michael Moore films out in the wild, period, whether it be at thrift shops or, like, even back in the day, Best Buy or Target. Sadly, they're gone now, but, you know, I guess Walmart now or Barnes & Nobles, I guess, are the last bastions of that. So, yeah, I mean, I guess you could order through Amazon, but that's a whole different thing. But the fact that I saw this at randomly in the wild just was kind of amazing. In fact, that's also a documentary. That's the other thing. You don't typically find documentaries out in the wild either, like documentaries themselves. So, you know, got it. Next up, we have Dolphin Tale, which is a movie that I don't hear anybody really talking about, if I'm being honest. I remember I saw the first one. There's 2 Dolphin Tale movies. At least 2. I'm not sure if they made it afterwards, like a 3rd one or a 4th one after that, but I know there's at least 2 movies. And yeah, I never hear anybody talk about this movie. I remember it was like very big when it first came out, and then afterwards it kind of just died. So yeah, then also I don't know what's going on with this like poster art here, like especially with Morgan Freeman. It just looks like so photoshopped. Everything looks so photoshopped there, but besides the point. But yeah, I remember this being a really fun movie, fine movie for what it was too. And yeah, I've never heard anybody talk about it since then. Next up, I have The Maze Runner, and not gonna lie, I thought I already had this movie in my collection as a DVD, so I was surprised when I didn't have it. Like, I bought it strictly to upgrade the DVD to Blu-ray, and turns out, oh wait, I don't have it. I'm surprised I don't have it, so now I have it, you know? Next up, we have The November Man, which is another upgrade. This one I do have the DVD, or did have the DVD, and now I have the Blu-ray, so yeah. Next up, we have Strangerland, A Perfect Getaway, and funny enough, I actually just heard about this on a podcast recently that was, not a podcast, sorry, a YouTube video that I had seen earlier, maybe like in February or early March, and it was about this YouTuber like going through Steven Zahn of all people, but yeah, his whole filmography, and Perfect Getaway was mentioned there, and I kind of just remembered it, and then I saw this at a Goodwill and bought it. Alright, next up, Fast and Furious 6, the Steelbook. Yup. Not really the biggest fan of the Fast and Furious movies, to be honest. I'll be honest, I haven't seen all of them to begin with, but the fact that I found that as a Steelbook, why not? Definitely getting it for like $5, so yeah. Next up, we have Alice in Wonderland. Honestly, one of the few good Disney remakes, if you ask me. James and the Giant Peach. Maleficent, another good, I think one of the better ones, even compared to Alice in Wonderland. But yeah, better Disney remakes. Toy Story 3, and I really like how in the back it just kind of has that quote. Once again, the incredible, talented, creative team at Pixar took audiences to infinity and beyond. Thank you all for making Toy Story 3 such a phenomenal success across our entire company, Bob Iger. So yeah, pretty cool. Red Riding Hood, and I remember the first time I saw this was like on a plane going somewhere, obviously going somewhere, but yeah, again, this is a movie I haven't heard anybody talk about like ever, like just straight up ever. I remember I enjoyed it at the time, but I haven't seen anything about it since then. I haven't heard anybody talk about it since then, so saw it there, got it. And another weird thing about this movie is that Leonardo DiCaprio, he's randomly a producer on this movie for whatever reason. So yeah. Next up, I have Deadpool, the first one. Milk, Paranormal Activity, the first one. Searching. I remember this was very big when it came out, and it's not that people have stopped talking about it, but I thought this movie would be a lot bigger than it actually is, if that makes sense. I feel like it's kind of turned into a bit of more of a cult classic type of film. Eraser and The Artist. Usually the artist is considered like one of the weaker Best Picture winners. I'm not really sure about that. I wouldn't go out there and say it's the best, but I wouldn't go out there and say it's the worst or the weakest one either. But that's just me. So that's everything for thrift shops. Next up, we'll get into the Walmart stuff. And in Walmart, I do have one DVD, the only other DVD I got here, and that is the Sherlock Holmes collection. All the Basil Rathbone movies that he's did as Sherlock Holmes, I got it in the collection. So yeah, he did like 13 movies, if I'm not mistaken. I do have, or 14 films, sorry, 14 films. And I do have 2 of them already on DVD that I got last year, also through thrift shops. I believe it's Spider-Woman and Pearl of Death. I believe those are the 2 ones I have already. So yeah, but now I have the whole collection, so there you go. Go figure. Now onto the Blu-rays. We have The Sound of Music, Nosferatu, the A24 5-film collection. Yeah, 5 movies here. Hereditary, X, The Witch, Green Room, and It Comes at Night. All these movies are great. I've seen all these movies. I'm actually surprised I don't have Hereditary already in my collection. I thought I did. I could have sworn I had Hereditary already in my collection as a Blu-ray, but guess not. But still, all 5 of these. The only one I had before this was X and The Witch. But The Witch I had on DVD, so this is basically an upgrade. And X, I already have it on Blu-ray, so yeah, basically the other 4 are now part of my collection. Awesome. And also, I've just never heard anybody talk about It Comes at Night. Green Room has always been kind of a cult classic in some sense of the word. But It Comes at Night, I've never heard anybody talk about that movie since it came out, to be honest with you. Alright, next up we have the Final Destination 5-film collection. Now that the trailer dropped for Final Destination Bloodlines, the hype behind it is there. It's real. Might as well upgrade the whole collection. So yeah, I already had all 5 films on DVD. I had the 4-pack collection for Final Destinations 1 through 4. And then I had the 5th one on DVD on the side. But yeah, now that I have this, upgrade all 5 of the films, go from there. Next up, I have the Blade trilogy, and similar to some of the other things I've told you before, I thought I already had Blade, or at least the first Blade, as a DVD in my collection, but turns out I didn't have it, so now I have the whole collection. All 3 films. Go figure. And last but not least, here for the Walmart stuff, I have the Rambo collection. All 4 Rambo movies. 4 or 5 Rambo movies? 5 Rambo movies. So, and I like how it does this too, like it has like this flap here. I just kind of wish that the steelbook, that the case kind of would hold a little bit more, because, you know, clear it's just slipping out right there. But yeah, and I love that image right there. That's pretty cool. Let's see how this, just him flexing again. So that pretty cool release with this one. Found that at Walmart. Alright, next up, I did order some stuff off of Kino Lorber. So here's the stuff I got from Kino Lorber. So here we have Lilies of the Field, Sidney Poitier. And honestly, Sidney Poitier is one of those like great classic actors that I've just really come to appreciate in recent times. Now that I've really gone back through his filmography, of course, seeing this, In the Heat of the Night, Look Who's Coming to Dinner. He's done so many great movies. There's another movie that he did. There's 2 movies that he did. There was like one of his very first movies. I forget what it's called, like No Other Way or No Way Out, something like that, where he's like a doctor and he has to like give medicine or like look after you know, patients who are racist. So there's that, and then there's the other one where he's like handcuffed to a convict, and the convict is also a racist, but over time they kind of come to an agreement. Those two movies are also really great. For example, another thing I love about Kino Lorber is the fact that they have a bunch of silent films. So I'm going to show you, I didn't get all silent films to be honest, but I'm going to show you some of the silent films I did get here. So first off, here we have is 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. Not a silent film, but still, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, the original one, because there are two versions. But yeah, this is the original Don Siegel version from 1956. Honestly, I love this cover. This lip cover is great. Love it. So, yeah, just great poster art right there. Next up, we have Mad Chan in Uniform. And this is a movie I've been dying to watch for some time already. It's about I'm not sure if it's a Christian school, to be honest, but it's like an all-girls school, an all-girls academy. I'm not sure if it's like an all-girls Christian academy or anything like that. But, you know, it's an all-girls academy, and they're all a bunch of teenagers. And you also have a teacher who's rather young, all things considered, and there's some, you know, attraction there, if you catch my drift. So, pretty interesting. Ever since I've heard about the plot about it and heard it being talked about in a few podcasts and videos, I found it very interesting. I've been dying to watch it. Next up, we have The Hunchback of Notre Dame. This is basically an upgrade for me because I do have this movie and as a DVD in like 2 or 3 different collections, to be honest. One of those, you know, like those 20-pack horror collections or like 50-pack horror collections or whatever. I do have that a few times over, so now I have the actual Blu-ray of it. So yeah. Here we have Michael, another silent film. Paracelsus. I'm not really sure if I pronounced that correctly, but yeah. Another silent film. This one, I'm kind of surprised it had on Kino Lorber, if I'm being honest. And that is Brokeback Mountain. I don't know why. I just found it very surprising that they had it there. Next up, we have The Last Tycoon, an early De Niro flick. We have 3 Days of the Condor. And honestly, this is actually a really great movie, if you ask me. Robert Redford's just amazing in this movie. So, same thing with Faye Dunaway, Max von Sydow, Cliff Robertson. Like, all of them are great. And the very first time I saw this was actually, again, on a plane, very randomly. And it's a movie that I've been dying to go back to and rewatch it because it's just so intense, honestly. Next up, we have The Phantom of the Opera. Again, the silent film version, the 1925 version of it with Lon Chaney. Again, this is another movie just like Hunchback where I have it in a collection like three times over, but now I have the actual Blu-ray. Next up, another silent film, and this is 13 Washington Square. And this is a movie that's been on my wish list for like almost a year and a half, maybe 2 years already at this point on Kino Lorber, and I'm like, screw it, why not? Let me just buy it already and get it over with. And last but not least, we have Tokyo Pop. And this movie was actually released on Kino Lorber almost like a year and a half ago, I want to say, like a year and a half ago. And it's a movie that like really blew up. Once it was released on Kino Lorber, it really blew up. A lot of people bought it, and I never really understood the hype behind it, to be honest. And, you know, I've listened to stuff about it, and like, it seems interesting. I'm not gonna lie, it does seem interesting, but for whatever reason, I'm not attracted to it, if that makes sense. Or I'm like, there's a part of me that really doesn't have any interest in watching it, but it's one of those things like, screw it, it's one of Kino Lorber's better successes, better releases, so to speak, more popular releases. So I'm like, and I got all these movies on sale on top of that. So I got all these movies on sale. This is on sale, so why not? Let me just bite the bullet already and just buy it already. Go figure. Alright, last but not least, we have my Barnes & Noble stuff. So first off, here we have Casino. And funny enough, with Casino, I bought this movie, cool. And then I went back to Barnes & Noble's, again, like a few days later, specifically to buy Casino again, forgetting that I had already bought it once. Go figure. So, yeah. So for a second, I was about to get Casino twice. And then when I went there the second time, I'm like, oh my gosh, I guess somebody took Casino. And then it wasn't until, like, I was reorganizing these movies sometime later. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm the one who bought Casino. Duh. So, it was pretty funny when I found that out. Discovered that. Next up, we have The Maltese Falcon. Again, I thought, this is another movie I thought I had, at least on DVD, but again, I didn't, so, yeah. Next up here, we have Fantastic Voyage, Constantine, another movie, again, another movie I thought I already had on DVD, and guess not. Alright, I know I'm gonna get some hate for these next 2 movies, but, again, I am a Rachel Zegler defender, so I do not care. I got West Side Story, the remake, and the original. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't care. I like Rachel Zegler. Bite me. Here we have a movie which I'm surprised I didn't have either, even on DVD, Interstellar. This one is an upgrade. I had it on DVD and now I got the Blu-ray for it, and this is Good Will Hunting. Honestly, one of the best movies ever. If you ask me, definitely up there, especially an emotional movie. It's definitely a movie that helped me out a lot. when I was going through some stuff about 2 years back, especially that scene with Robin Williams. You know, it's not your fault, it's not your fault, it's not your fault, you know. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Another upgrade from DVD to Blu-ray, and that is The Departed. Here we have the Indiana Jones 4 movie collection. So, yeah, all 4 movies of Indiana Jones, and there is the 5th one, the one that came out last year, or the year before that. 2 years ago, right? 2 years ago. Not gonna lie, I actually liked that movie. I actually didn't mind it. I liked it. And I'll be honest, here's the thing, I'm not the biggest fan of the Indiana Jones franchise series. I'll be honest, I've only seen 2 movies. The first one and the last one. And by last one, I mean the one that came out like 2 years ago. So, the other 3 movies, can't really tell you how I feel about them because I've never seen them, surprisingly enough. Alright, next up, we have La Dolce Vita. Now, Criterion did used to have this movie, but it's gone out of print since then, and finding the Criterion to this movie is kind of a pain. So, you know, getting just a regular Blu-ray, why not? Maybe in the future, if I find it for cheap, I'll upgrade it from Blu-ray to Criterion, but for now, that works. Next up, like I said, I went back to Barnes & Noble to buy Casino. I actually went there for another reason too, and that is to actually buy the upgrade for Blade Runner, the first one, for the final cut. So yeah, I had this on DVD, and now I have the upgrade. I already have Blade Runner 2049 as a Blu-ray from long ago, so I just need to upgrade this version of Blade Runner to the Blu-ray. And originally, I was just going to buy those 2 movies, Blade Runner and Casino. But forgetting that I bought Casino already, and seeing that Casino was no longer there, I'm like, okay, cool. Let me see what else is here. And the only other movie I got from that trip was Till. And yeah, this is a movie that every time I went to Barnes & Noble's, I'm like, okay, maybe I'll get it, maybe not. I mean, am I interested in it? Kind of seems interesting. I mean, sure, why not? Maybe Daniel Detweiler did deserve the Oscar for it. I mean, sorry, the Oscar nomination for it. But do I have that much incentive to buy it? And the fact that Casino wasn't there, so I had some extra money to just buy this. I'm like, yeah, you know what, screw it, why not pick it up already? And then here we have The Substance, my favorite movie of last year. Again, Demi Moore got robbed. Here we have Heretic, a surprising movie from last year, honestly. And there is a part of me that kind of wishes it would have gotten like a screenplay nomination or a acting nomination for Hugh Grant. He did get the Golden Globe nomination for it, if I'm not mistaken. So there was a chance for him. Although it would have been a category fraud type of situation too, because he would have been nominated in Best Actor when it should have been under Best Supporting Actor. But yeah, I'm not going to get into that conversation. Another great movie of last year, and it is Sing Sing. It's such an amazing movie from last year. And definitely, I definitely think that Clarence Macklin should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actor. 100%, I do believe that. I'm kind of surprised that Sing Sing didn't make it into Best Picture, if I'm being completely honest with you. This should have been nominated a bit more, but part of it also has to do with just the absolutely botched release that Sing Sing had. Yeah, I mean, that was, the way they released Sing Sing was just, like, sinful, if I'm being honest, like, a sin. So, yeah, I don't know. And last but not least, here for the Barnes & Noble stuff, we have The Zone of Interest. It's a movie that I was really interested in seeing 2 years ago, and it was considered one of the best movies of 2023. Yeah, 2023. And I've just never gotten around to seeing it until now, now that I have it. I will say, though, I don't understand why there's, like, a rose flower right there as the cover art. If you see the other 2 that are from A24, you have, like, posters from it. And I don't recall a flower being a poster for what's this movie called? Zone of Interest. For Zone of Interest. Now, I do remember people saying that there's a lot of garden scenes, so I guess it has to do with that, but, like, that's not, I've never seen a poster with this, you know? If anything, I've seen a poster with this image, you know? So, yeah. And last but not least, I have all my Criterion stuff that I bought. Now, I'll be honest with you, some of this I did buy from Barnes & Noble, some of this I did buy from the website itself. Thing is, I just don't remember which one I bought from which one. So, might as well just group all the Criterions into one and go from there. And first off here, we have Lost Highway. Again, David Lynch, he died recently, so I just wanted to get something of his. I already have Blue Velvet, and I'll be honest, Lost Highway is the only other David Lynch movie I've seen. I haven't seen Twin Peaks, anything Twin Peaks, to be honest with you. So that kind of took it off the table to a certain degree. I haven't seen Eraserhead or The Elephant Man or The Straight Stories. Probably the Straight Stories aren't probably the one I want to watch the most, because it seems like the least Lynchian thing. At the same time, also being the most Lynchian thing. But, yeah. But Lost Highway, that's honestly the only reason I got it, because it's the only other David Lynch movie I've seen. So, yeah. Here we have In the Mood for Love. And this one I know for sure. I bought it at Barnes & Noble's. That one I know for sure. Pretty sure Lost Highway I also bought at Barnes & Noble's when I think about it. So, yeah, In the Mood for Love. It's one I've been meaning to watch for some time. It does have a sequel, for those who don't know. Not many people know that. It actually does have a sequel. Here we have About Dry Grasses. Another one I for sure know I bought at Barnes & Noble's. Okay, maybe I actually do know what I bought, when and where. Alright, next up we have Branded to Kill. And just a random martial arts movies that Criterion has. Not the biggest fan of this poster, if I'm being honest. I just don't like how the animated butterflies are, like, covering the guy's face. But that's just me. Here we have The Uninvited. And this one I got, again, at Barnes & Noble's. Ikiru. And this is another movie I've been meaning to watch, especially after I saw it being discussed on a podcast, the Cinefx podcast, where they're doing, like, their top 100 movies of all time. And they discussed this at one point in the podcast. And I found it to be very... The way that they talked about the movie, the way they described it, I found it very interesting. So I saw it there and Criterion, so got it. Alright, next up, I think these I did buy online on the channel, on the website itself. So first off, here we have Wings of Desire, and this is a movie I've been meaning to watch for some time. I've been very interested about it for some time, and that's why I got it. Here we have Romeo and Juliet. And I bought this for two reasons. One of them is because Olivia Hussey, she also died, I think, end of last year, if I'm not mistaken. And this is probably her most well-known role. But it also has to do with the fact that this is a movie I've just been meaning to rewatch for some time. I saw it for the first time in high school when we read, Romeo and Juliet, and then we were going to watch a movie. And I remember everybody's like, okay, we're going to watch the DiCaprio version. No, we're going to watch this version. And because of that, not everybody didn't like this movie. Everybody found it slow, boring, just bad, myself included. But over time, through my film journey, my cinema knowledge journey, so to speak, I've come to understand that this is actually a very integral film, so to speak, and it's actually a very great adaptation, especially compared to the DiCaprio version. Again, not hating on the DiCaprio version, not hating on DiCaprio, Baz Luhrmann, Clara Danes, I'm not hating on them, but it's the fact that, very clearly, that's not, Shakespeare did not have Romeo and Juliet in mind, and then being like a kind of halfway gangster film. No, he had this. So I kind of do want to rewatch this and see how faithful it is to Romeo and Juliet, the actual play, and kind of go from there, and a more toned down version of it, so to speak. Next up, we have The Last Temptation of Christ, and I actually just watched this recently because it just was Easter a few days ago, or last week, better said, and not gonna lie, I don't know what I would think about this movie. It's a Scorsese movie, and honestly, Scorsese is one of my favorite directors of all time. If not my favorite, it usually goes between Scorsese and Hitchcock. But first thing, it almost feels like Scorsese was trying to make a Jodorowsky movie. That's almost what it came out at times. Where it's like, oh, what if Martin Scorsese were to get a little bit experimental and try to make almost a very light Alejandro Jodorowsky movie? That's the first thing. The second thing is, I'm not sure if Willem Dafoe was like the best person for Jesus Christ. I don't like the way he plays it. And that's apparently a very common complaint about him. And the logic behind this is the fact that, Jesus Christ, theoretically, or logically, would have been a very troubled person. Like, he has this great power thrust upon him. And because of that, he's always, there's a reason why he's always praying, there's a reason why he's always so pensive, this and that. And although I get that, I just feel the way that Willem Dafoe plays him is just very cynical in a way that I don't like. I do feel like there are times where, actually not even, I don't even think Jesus Christ would have a reason to be cynical if even if he has that direct line of communication to God, if he truly believes that God is with him, which is true. I don't see a reason why he would be cynical, and I just find him to be way too cynical in this role. And the other thing with this is the fact that I always just saw Willem Dafoe. I never saw him disappear into Jesus Christ, to be honest. So yeah, I don't know what to think about that movie, to be honest. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. Here we have A Night to Remember, and honestly, I'm a huge fan of Titanic. My favorite movie of all time is Titanic. As you can see, I have a Titanic poster right there, which is actually about this book series. It's a trilogy Titanic series where it kind of had some weird turns, to be honest, looking back at it. And it's kind of a fiction thing, type of thing. But besides the point, so I'm a huge fan about Titanic. I love learning about Titanic. I love watching movies about Titanic and documentaries. So this just kind of adds to my Titanic collection, or the Titanic part of my collection, so to speak. Because I have a bunch of stuff about Titanic. I have the Cameron Titanic. I have a bunch of web series, TV series, miniseries about Titanic, a bunch of documentaries about Titanic here in my collection. So that's, again, another one for the collection. Here we have La Samurai, and again, starring Alain de Leon, who died last year. And I'm actually kind of surprised, well, I'm like half surprised, better said, that he wasn't mentioned in the in memoriam segment for the Oscars. I'm like halfway there. Like I'm a bit surprised, but at the same time I kind of understand, because he did have his troubles. He did have his allegations at the end. So, you know, maybe that's why they didn't include him. But given the fact that he was such a huge pivotal figure of French cinema, there's a part of me that would have, had they circumvent that or forgotten that and actually put him in there, it would have made sense. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm half surprised, half not. So yeah, but let's summarize. And last but not least, we have Come and See. So yeah, I'm not really sure how many movies I have here, to be honest with you. The number's probably right there. Like I said, again, I'm going to take that elephant out of the room, so to speak, very fast. But I did say I was going to stop buying movies, or stop buying so many movies. And clearly, that was not accomplished, not by a mile. But that being said, after April came, I'll be honest, I did buy a few things in April, such as the Kino Lorber stuff. That's all from this month, from April, as well as some of the Walmart stuff. I think, or maybe all of the Walmart stuff, now I think about it. Some of the Walmart, I'm not sure if all of the Walmart, but some of the Walmart stuff, for sure. But aside from that, aside from those two things, everything else was in March, if not very late February. I think I may have bought some of those Criterions in late February, to be honest with you, with the ones I ordered online. So, yeah. But yeah, that's basically for now. The only other thing I have that hasn't come in yet, I actually bought this play. I may get the title wrong, but I'm showing it right there, but it's like Kevin and the Flan, or something like that. And it's actually written by Brandon Urieta, who is a local playwright. He's actually somebody I actually personally know. So I bought that play to support him. It hasn't come in the mail yet. It comes probably like next week, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I just want to kind of make this video very fast, because I'll be honest, originally this video was supposed to come out next week, or maybe the week after this. So like actually in May. But some of the other videos I had and planned for this week and next week, they have to be reshuffled, because just timing and some stuff that's going on in my personal life, which I'll get to later, hopefully in one of those videos. One of the videos that actually got delayed was actually me talking about my favorite faith-based films. I was hoping to get it out this week. I was hoping to get it out last week, if I'm being honest, right before Easter, but that didn't happen. So I was hoping to get it out this week, but again, that's not happening. So if anything, I'll have it out next week, which will be late because of Easter, but hey, that's what happens sometimes. But yeah, and then the other video I have, which you may have noticed from the very beginning of the intro of this video, was describing the situation with my dad, because he has cancer. I'm still hoping to make a video on that soon. There's been some updates, positive updates, but because of that, I'm not really sure how I'm gonna make the video anymore. But I still wanted to talk about it in some capacity and kind of go from there. But that's basically it for now. But yeah, that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart signing off. And yeah, which movie should I start watching right off the bat? What are your thoughts on Temptation of Christ? I was about to say Passion of Christ. But Last Temptation of Christ, what are your thoughts on that? Do you actually like that movie or not? Again, I'm not really sure what to feel about that movie. I'll be honest, I'm not really sure what to feel about that movie. But yeah, what are your thoughts on all this? Yeah, that's basically it for now. This is Daniel Mart signing off.